Friends, a train wreck and Tommy Lasorda are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is September 22nd, 2022. It is the 265th day of the year. There are 100 days left in 2022. It's the 38th Thursday in the 38th week and the first day of fall. Congratulations, we finally made it. We got 3 months till winter. Today is National Elephant Appreciation Day. Remember, September 22nd recognizes National Elephant Appreciation Day. The elephant probably won't forget. Yeah, that's like the old rumor that elephants remember everything. These captivating and social animals live between 60 and 70 years. Like humans, elephants develop remarkably close family bonds. There are two species of elephants, the African savanna elephant and the Asian elephant. Each day, poachers kill approximately 100 elephants for their ivory, their meat, and their bones, and their skin even. These pachyderms are closely related to the rhinoceros and hippo. That makes sense. They kind of look like it. I mean, same type of feet. They have tusks and horns, and they're big and bulky, all three of them. While African elephants outgrow Asian elephants, both hold the prize for the largest land mammals. All right. Let's see what else September 22nd has given us. 1789, the office of the United States Postmaster is established. 1919, the steel strike of 1919 begins in Pennsylvania before spreading across the United States. 1939, World War II, a joint German-Soviet military parade is held to celebrate the successful invasion of Poland. Some years later, the Soviet Union decided they didn't like Germany too much and they joined up with their enemy, the United States, and went to war with Germany. I guess we weren't really enemies at the time, we just weren't really close friends. 1975, Sarah Jane Moore tries to assassinate U.S. President Gerald Ford, but is foiled by the Secret Service. Sarah Jane Moore spent more than 32 years in prison and was finally released. Now, she attempted this just a few days after one of Charles Manson's people tried to kill President Ford. Sarah Jane Moore said that she thought a revolution was coming and she was involved with this organization of people that just kind of wanted to overthrow the government. You know, there was a lot of that going around back in the day. And I think, sadly, it's kind of back again. It's kind of like fashion. It always comes back around. But she was released after serving 32 years in prison, and she was on a couple different talk shows where she talked about what, was going on in her head at the time. One thing that stuck out to me, she was very young. She thought she was worried about the press and what they'd say about her, but she really didn't think it would be a national thing. She was just worried about the San Francisco press. 1993, a barge strikes a railroad bridge near Mobile, Alabama, causing the deadliest train wreck in Amtrak history. 47 passengers are killed. Now I remember when this happened. I'm a big train fan. I like to take the train whenever I can, and I've always been like that. So I remember this one, and it was pretty sad. The train was the Sunset Limited that used to go from Los Angeles to Miami. These days it stops in New Orleans. Well, that's where the train had stopped on that September 22nd. It had had a problem with one of the restrooms and an air conditioning unit, so they were a little delayed. But after they fixed the air conditioning unit in the bathroom, off they went. Well, up ahead in Alabama, it was foggy there too, and a tugboat that was pushing a couple barges kind of bumped one of the pillars of a rail bridge. The captain didn't bother letting anyone know that he'd bumped this. He didn't think it hit hard enough and just went about his business. Shortly before 3 a.m., the Sunset Limited came to the Canot Bayou Bridge. Unaware that anything was wrong, they came to the bridge at 70 miles an hour. The front engine derailed, taking the next engine and 4 of the passenger cars with it into the bayou. The first engine basically spearheaded itself into the mud across the bayou, killing the engineer instantly. Now, the tugboat was still in the area, and the captain said that he heard something and he could see something was on fire, but the fog was really bad. He couldn't tell what was happening, so he just kind of stayed on site and told people that there's something bad out here, you need to get people out here. Well, during his report, he told them it was someplace else. He didn't tell them it was that bridge. That's where they figured out what happened. He didn't know where he was. He wasn't using his radar and didn't even know how to use his radar. And that's how he was going down this bayou thinking he was in this one stretch of the river, and he hit a bridge that he had no idea was there. He thought he was someplace totally different. Well, after the investigation, they found out that damage on one of the barges matched markings that were found on the bridge. They had these things that are called stiffeners that kind of stiffen a girder that holds a bridge up. Well, they matched perfectly on the front of one of the barges with damaged ones that were in the water from the bridge when it collapsed. They also found out that him hitting it bent the tracks into an S shape. Now, normally if the tracks are broken, that'll send an electronic signal and everyone basically stops on the tracks because they know there's a problem. Well, since it was an S shape and not an actual break, the signal never came through. They thought it was perfectly fine. In the end, they found out that the tugboat captain was not properly trained, and this man had been promoted and demoted several times. So in the end, he was in the wrong, but he only had to give up his pilot's license, and he could never be a boat captain again. Premiered on September 22nd, there was a lot to choose from on this day. This is the time of the year when a lot of television shows are put on. And so today we went with Friends, but there's about 6 others we could have put here. Everyone knows Friends. It's a sitcom about a group of friends living in New York City who help each other through personal and professional struggles. The show won 6 Emmy Awards during its run, including the Primetime Emmys for Outstanding Comedy Series in 2002. Numerous prominent actors guest starred on the show throughout its 10 seasons, including Bruce Willis, Brad Pitt, Reese Witherspoon, Christina Applegate, and they had a sort of a reunion in 2019 that aired on HBO in 2020. I can honestly say I know it was a great show. People loved it. It was on 10 years. Never watched an episode, but it was huge. Born on September 22nd, 1927, Tommy Lasorda, Major League Baseball manager who led the Dodgers to the World Series titles in 1981 and in 1988. He was twice named National League Manager of the Year and was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1997. He spent his playing career with the Brooklyn Dodgers and the Kansas City Athletics from 1954 to 1956. Didn't have a real long career as a player. His number 2 jersey was retired by the Dodgers. Died on September 22nd, 1989, Irving Berlin, known for God Bless America and White Christmas. He is considered one of America's greatest songwriters. His house was burned down in an act of anti-Semitism. His first international hit was Alexander's Ragtime Band from 1911, which started a worldwide dance craze. His 6-decade career produced 1,500 songs, 8 Academy Award nominations, and 25 chart hits. His songs were covered by artists ranging from Frank Sinatra to Jerry Garcia. Irving Berlin died in his sleep in his 17 Beckman Place townhouse in Manhattan on September 26, 1989, of a heart attack and other natural causes. He was 101 years old. Alright, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a productive day, and be nice to each other.